Good afternoon, folks. Today I'm going to do a little bit of body work on the van. On the passenger side, on the door, it's got a pretty bad spot there. I know I was going to start the step first, but we're going to do this first because that part of the van is in the shade and temperature isn't too bad, and I can do some work. I just want to do one spot and maybe get it bondoed and primed today. I don't need to use Bondo glass on it because it's only a rust area that I'm going to try grinding off using those new grinding wheel wire brushes that I got from Harbor Freight. Okay, the first thing I want to do, we're going to use the twisted wire one here. With that damn beeping, I'm going to be listening to that all day. I got a 7/8 inch wrench, and other than firing this thing up, without a brush on it, it works okay. Now, it doesn't really tell you too much about how to use this tool, but I think I'm doing it right, and in case you guys out there. Now, this here, these two washers here, I don't even know if I'm in camera. These two washers here, this one I think stays on here. I'm not 100% sure. This one has to come off because this is for putting in these cutting wheels. You know, you sandwich them in there and tighten it down. But I don't think you're supposed to leave this out. I think this one stays in there, and this is the one you remove, because this one screws on, this one just drops on. This is the one that was in first. So now what I got to do is screw in. They don't give you any instruction. I guess they figure you're supposed to know that, and you know, this button here, you really have to press hard to get this thing to lock. Okay, now I'm going to put the wrench to it. Tighten it on there. My wrench goes in there. My wrench is too fat. This wrench is too fat. Go in there. It's a 7/8, and the damn wrench is too fat. I've got to tighten that down, otherwise I'm going to have all kinds of trouble. So we're going to come back on there, on the video here. I got to find a thinner 7/8. It jams in, it won't go all the way on the nut. Well, it looks like I got two choices: either leave it on loose or take this washer out. I can't even get a pair of pliers in there. So what I'm going to do is take that washer out. Take that washer out. It doesn't tell you whether to leave it in or not, because the instructions on this thing tells you how, what to do for pads, the discs, I should say. So we're going to have to do it this way. And maybe that's the way I'm supposed to do it anyways. Maybe I'm supposed to take that out of there. Well, let me tighten that up here, and I'll come back on this video. Alright, I got this thing tightened up. I did it in the off camera here. Now, this is a Billings wrench. So, they can't be made too thin because it wouldn't be strong. So, the wrench they give you with this has these two little things on them like this, and they're made to turn in on the holes here on this for when you're using grinding wheels and stuff. Okay, we got to get going on this. I'm going to try to just grind this spot over here. Safety glasses on here. It's too damn hot to wear long sleeves and stuff. And some of the guys have been telling me that these wires actually fly out of here. Well, I'm going to make sure that, I don't hit anything. Like, there's no hole here. If there was a hole with edges and stuff, I wouldn't try to use this on that. But I'm doing it on a flat surface. So we're going to work in this area here. I'm concentrating on just this one for now. Oh, here we go. about it down there. Sometimes they get worse than you think it is. Well, it's worse than I thought. Well, you know, I'm never going to get all that rust out of there. There's no way I'm going to get that rust out of there. You know, and it's noisy. Even with, I didn't think that this would be noisy. Oh, they got a wire coming out of here already. Yep. Well, you know, I think we're going to just do the best I can. We're not going to go crazy with this, and we'll just bondo it. That's all. We'll bondo it. All right, I got to do some more grinding here, but I don't want to hit the good metal down here. This is the bottom of the door. So let's just see if I can get some more out of there. Let's just check the brush here. That don't look too bad. Very hard on my back, very hard. This van needs to be up about 3 feet high so I can work on it. I'm hunching over and it's killing my lower back. Oh, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on sanding in spite of what the guys say. You're never going to get that rust out of there. Not without cutting it out. I'm not going to go through that. I thought this would be the easiest part to work on. I think what I'm going to do is go to I'll probably go to a sanding disc or something. This thing makes a lot of noise here. We live in a mobile home park, and I can't be having grinding noise. I can't have a lot of noise like that. I'll do a little more on this, and then I'll change wheels. You ain't gonna get any more than that off of there. Now for me it's a learning experience with this type of wheel because I've used only grinding discs before. I have a Craftsman grinder, 4.5-inch grinder, but the reason I bought the Harbor Freight here is because I don't know if these here would fit my Craftsman. I don't know if it's a standard size or not. Now, on these two wheels, when I was grinding on this wood, using this one here, I'm grinding this way, you know, on the side of the door. Now, I'm going to be grinding this way, which is better. I think what we're going to do, we're going to try this wheel here. I'm not sure which way this is supposed to go on. The nut is on the inside here, so I would assume that this part goes on like this. So we're going to use the heavier one first and see if I can get any more out of it. And we'll tighten that down off camera. And then we may go into this wheel, but I don't think this one will do too much. I primarily wanted to use this because I thought this would take all the rust out, but obviously didn't. And to get sandblasting equipment to do it, I'd have to get a good quality sandblaster and everything. It would cost me a lot of money, as I said, and that's why I decided against it. Anything Harbor Freight has, I don't think is very good for sandblasting. And I have to go with what I can afford. So this is what I can afford. So we're going to come back on the video. We're going to try using this one, which is a wider disc. And if that don't work out, we'll use the skinnier one here. We'll probably try them anyway, so we may even try that. And after that, I'm just going to sand it and just bundle it. Well, it seems to have taken a little bit more off, but there's holes in here, you know. One of the fellows said he was going to use J.B. Weld on his vehicle, you know. J.B. Weld, I think, would, to me, it would seal the rust in there, and it can't, if oxygen can't get to the rust, this is my theory anyways, it can't spread anymore. But I don't have any J.B. Weld, so what we're going to do is we're going to get the lighter disc. We're going to put the regular wire wheel on there, the cup wheel, the small one, the fine wire. And we're going to finish it with that, and then I'm going to hit it with sandpaper. I got that tightened. The hardest part of this is to hold this button in, and my thumb joint's hurting me from trying to hold. You have to really press hard on that thing, and then get a wrench in there and tighten it. All right, this is what we're using. So, let me get my glasses on here. Plugged in. All right, let's see. I can tell you right now, you ain't gonna get it any better than that, because it's still got a rusty look to it, but there's nothing flaking. So I'm gonna hit that with sandpaper. Not sure what grit yet. You know, bodywork is, of all the projects, that's the least project I hate. I don't like plumbing. I'm no good at it, but I'd rather do plumbing than bodywork. And that's one of the reasons why I kept putting it off so long, because it's a losing battle. It's a losing battle. So what I got to get this, I got to do something with here, I got to do something with here, I got to do something down here. I'm not doing that today. I want to just do one little thing today, because the weather will not stay comfortable very long. So I'll come back on this video. I'm going to sand this. I'll do that off camera. All right, I got 60 grit here. All right. I don't spend a lot of time sanding. As you can see how much wire brushing I did, and it's still all rusty, you know. But it's not flaking rust. It's a small spot, and I don't feel like getting the palm sander out. I have a palm sander. I don't know how well they're going to work on this. It's still humid. It's close to 80 degrees, and I work up a sweat. I can't take physical exertion in this kind of weather. You know, it comes with age, I guess. But I never could take the heat and humidity. Now, what I'm going to do, from what the guys have been telling me, they say Bondo right on bare metal. Well, this is not bare metal. So I'm going to use my old trick of aluminum paint. This is Rust-Oleum metallic finish aluminum paint. I got very little in here, but I'm going to cover this with aluminum paint. And if it dries in time, then I'll Bondo over that. I feel that the aluminum paint, being that it's aluminum and contains, I would assume, actual aluminum, that it will help the rust from spreading. Of course, I can't get on the inside of this without taking the door panel apart, and if I was going to do that, then I would cut it out and pop rivet it, you know, and it's never going to be flat, no matter. You bang it down, and it'll have bumps and hills in it, you know. It's easy for somebody to say, do this and do that, because the guys that say that have the equipment to do it, and a garage to do it in. I got to work outside, and I got to at the mercy of Mother Nature. It's pretty well feathered down, so when I put the Bondo on, it should be okay. Now, of course, there's holes in here, which I was surprised to see. Now, we're going to put the aluminum paint on it, and then we'll stick some a light Bondo. We're not using Bondo glass because we're not going. If this was a hole, then I'd use the Bondo glass. This is a finer sandpaper. This is 150 grit here. I just grab whatever I have on hand. I can't remember all the grits that they recommend. I'm sweating like a pig out here now. This is why I just wanted to give you a little sample, and I'm going to leave the ratings on this video and so on. I just want to see. This is not the right way to do it, and this is the poor man's way to do it and what I can afford to do. But this exception on this video, I'm going to leave the ratings on. I normally don't. I just want to see how many thumbs down I get on this. I think that's as good as I'm going to get it. Okay, I've got my aluminum paint here, and there's very little in here, but there's more than enough to do this, and I just use one of these disposable 1-inch foam brushes, and there's enough here in this can to probably do all these spots on the van here if I can get rid of all the rust. So very unprofessional, I know. So this is for you guys that do not have the equipment, can't afford the equipment, or just trying to keep your vehicle running. And that's all this is. If I can get this to work in the holes over here. And when this dries, then I will put Bondo on it. Like I say, I'll use the regular Bondo, not the Bondo glass. Okay, that's all. And we'll let that dry. We'll come back in the video in a bit. Well, it's been about 15 minutes, and still tacky, so I'm not going to Bondo today on that. I want that to dry good, and when I do Bondo, I'll lightly sand it and then put the Bondo over it and push it into the hole there. Since I did this, I just touched up, I sanded very quickly with the 60 grit paper here and over here. It's certainly not work that I'm proud of, but you know, it's the best I can do. Another one I fixed a couple years ago, and I masked it off. You can see that. I use that rust, what do you call that stuff you put on? It's supposed to get rid of the rust, neutral rust. But, you know, it's down underneath here too. So I have to keep going over this. Now, if you sandblasted it, you'd have to mask it off. If you ground it, masking off won't do any good because you'll be grinding up the rubber. So you only can work in this area. You can't work down in here, you know. And I sure as hell ain't gonna take this window out. That's called major body shop work, and I can't do that. I had damn aluminum paint all over me here. So I was gonna Bondo today, but basically this is just a preliminary video on the upcoming bodywork series, which I don't know if I'm even going to. Guys want to see it, but you know, this is not the right way to do it. I thought I was going to be able to grind really good with those wheels over here. I had thought that this would take it down to bare metal with no problem whatsoever. Now I got a cutting wheel, which I used to use all the time, but that makes 10 times the noise this thing makes, and I can't have that noise over here. So I just cannot be making noise like that. So we're going to put the tools away here, and I have to let that aluminum paint dry. Well, like I say, I'm going to leave the ratings on this video. We'll see how it goes from there. And that'll determine whether I leave the ratings on or not, or even whether I'm going to make videos of body work, because this is not the right way to do it. I was hoping that when I got these grinding wire wheels that I could do it and avoid the sandblaster, which I cannot afford. Thank you for watching. I thought I was doing something good. You gotta be kidding me.